How did I get into photography? The question that keeps you up wondering late at night. Today I'm going to go through a quick story about how I got into it myself and then talk about how you can do the same. It all started with a face smash. I was skateboarding down a gap. I smashed my face. If you haven't seen the video, link is over here. It's excellent. A little bit bloody though. And I couldn't skate for a few months because of the oral surgeries and root canals. So what's the next best thing you do when you can't skateboard? You take photos of skateboarding. This is one of the first skate photos I ever took, coincidentally at the place where I smashed my face. So I started taking more and more skate photos. And then I started taking photos of the guys in between attempts of the tricks. And I realized I really like photographing emotions, which led to me taking more and more portraits. I also started caring about the backgrounds of all the photos as much as the actual trick being done, which led to me getting into landscape photography. And finally, I was subscribed to 3 different skateboarding magazines at the time, and Matt Price, one of my favorite photographers, had work in one of them that really inspired me to try taking long exposure photography. Shooting skateboarding helped me find all these different styles of photography that I'm still really into to this day. So now we're going to talk about how you can find out what tickles your fancy. One of the weirder expressions I use, also one of my favorites. Step 1, smash your face. Just kidding. What you're going to want to do is think about something you really love, something you spend a lot of time doing, and start photographing that. And the reason why I say this is because if you're shooting something you don't care about, and you're also not into photography yet, now you're doing 2 different things you don't really care about, which is a recipe for disaster. If you start with something you love, eventually that love will hopefully spread also into photography, and boom, next thing you know, you're a professional photographer. Step 2, find inspiration. One of the best places to do this is on Instagram. Just find a photographer, scroll through his feed, and just soak in his photographic talent until you're ready to go out and take photos. 3 of my favorite Instagram photographers. 1, Matt Price takes amazing skate photos. 2, Jason M. Peterson takes stunning black and white photos, mainly of Chicago. And 3, the US Department of the Interior, believe it or not, has an amazing Instagram with some of the best landscape photos of all the national parks. So much inspiration on one page. Go check out all these accounts. Step 3, shoot the generic stuff. I always have friends telling me, oh, I don't want to shoot this because it's been done a million times. Maybe it's a sunset or a cityscape. And to that I say, unless you've done it before, you should be shooting it because you cannot compare yourself to others when you're a beginner photographer. And the reason why this stuff might be considered generic is because it's basic, and basic is the best way to start taking photos. Step 4, copy other photographers. There are 2 parts to taking a photo. 1 is having the vision and 2 is executing. And when you're first starting out, you might not have the mind of a photographer. So by taking someone else's vision, you can focus purely on the execution, which is great for learning how to use your camera. Step 5, shoot everything. The best way to get good at taking photos is by taking an insane amount of photos. And don't be a snob. If something seems ugly to you, take that as a challenge and try photographing it. So when you're out skating, don't just shoot the glorious skate trick that's going down. Shoot everything in between those tries. Shoot the skater's bloody legs. Shoot the security guard kicking you out. Anything, because you never know what's going to draw your interest, and you might find that you actually like shooting totally different stuff than you were originally photographing. Step 6, Google is your friend. As much as this pains me to say, I am not the only source of photographing information online. So if you want to learn how to take a certain photo, Google it, and I'm sure you'll find hundreds of tutorials on any sort of photo style. That's how I learned almost everything I know about photography. This is especially true when it comes to editing photos. I edit all my shots in Photoshop and Lightroom, which are 2 really challenging softwares. In fact, I'm still learning how to master them. But what's made me learn much faster is rather than going to photoshoptutorials.com and working through basic tutorial after basic tutorial, is actually throwing myself into the deep end and having these shots that need to get edited, because then it becomes a matter of either I learn how to edit these shots or I don't. It's kind of like you could read all about how to swim, or you could jump in the pool and figure it out. And that's what I really vouch for most things in life. Now for equipment, which seems to be everyone's biggest question mark, let me just say I'm a firm believer in that you can do amazing work with any camera, whether it be a super nice Canon 5D Mark III with a $5,000 lens or an iPhone. But I'm gonna give you some basic suggestions. First thing is, this is the Canon T3i. This is what I filmed almost all of my videos on up until a year ago when I upgraded to the 70D. It's a really nice entry-level DSLR with a flip-out LCD, which is great for getting low angles, and it also has pretty decent quality HD video. The camera I'm using right now is the Canon 70D, which is like a nicer T3i. It has autofocus video, which is huge for me, but it is a little bit more expensive. Now for lenses, this is the Optica 6.5mm fisheye, which is a great lens for skate photography. A lot of skate photos are taken with the fisheye. Let me switch this on just so you can see what it looks like. As you can see, it's a very wide lens with the cool effect that makes skateboarding look great. Another couple lenses I want to recommend. This is the Tamron 10 to 24 millimeter wide angle lens. That's what I was just filming this on. It's just a beautiful, slightly more versatile lens than the fisheye, and you can do most stuff with this. Another great lens is the Canon 50 millimeter. This is called the Nifty 50. It's super cheap, only $100. And you can take great portraits on it, great long lens shots. This is the lens that most photographers probably have. It's a great starting lens. But if you want to know more about my current setup, I'm gonna put a link down below to all of the camera equipment I'm using. If you want to see a video where I talk about all of my camera gear, a link will be right here. If you go out and take any awesome shots after watching this photo tutorial, I would love to see them. So be sure to post them on Instagram with the hashtag JoshKatzPhotos, and my favorite one will be featured in the next photo tutorial and reposted on my Instagram. So my favorite one for my last 360 panorama photo tutorial is this awesome one by Zach Jagger's Films, and it just looks incredible. But honestly, all of these photos look so great. First of all, you guys are pretty talented, but also it's pretty hard to take a bad looking 360 panorama. So if you want to see the 360 panorama tutorial, link is over here. Anyway, I cannot wait to see what you guys post with this new tutorial in mind, and go out and take some great photos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you eventually.